All right, folks, welcome back to the Crisis Report. It is August 2nd, 2025, at least for a little bit longer. There was a major, not major, but for the area, large earthquake in New York City. It's 3.8. I know that doesn't sound like much, especially after the 8.8 that hit the Kamchatka Peninsula. But the earthquake is in a region which is heavily dense with population, and it was basically right there around the city in northern New Jersey. So we're going to cover more of that. We have everything else going on, and this isn't a large report, but this is a report nonetheless. Thanks for having grace for me yesterday. Today we are back. We are traveling, and so we're going to get to it. This message has been brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. They are a precious metals company that will help you with your IRA if you want to put it into physical metals. You basically, instead of investing like you would in an IRA with, however they do it, this is a do it in precious metals kind of way. And they are stewards of those metals, and they are yours. And they have a full educational. So if you'd like to go through it, check out the affiliate link in the description. And from there, you can find out. If you like it, great. If not, you can move on. So, speaking of which, let's move on. Let us go and tell you about the earthquake and more things going on. So, lock in, hit that like button, do the subscribe thing, darken out the bell, get the notifications, and let us manage this absolutely fabulous platform we call YouTube. Here we go. Iranian officials say India will keep buying Russian oil despite Trump's threats, New York Times. Iran releases names and profiles of Israeli jet fighters that bombed the country during the 12-day war on Tehran. German police have expanded the use of Palantir surveillance software called Gotham. If there is one prevailing theme that has been going on in the last month or so, it is all of the rise of AI, but also the push for the surveillance state. We're going to have more. The United Kingdom, of course, for their digital online act, where you have to basically put your identification in, and then you take the hack of what happened with the T app and how people were putting their meta information through their their facial recognition or whatever for to get on the app, shows location and stuff. All this digital security thing has really been in the news, and I think it shows that there are a lot of problems that are evolving. And of course, everything is in the name of safety. Well, it's not very safe if you put your face, your metadata, all your stuff, and someone can hack it and take it, and that's been happening. And then, of course, there's the other end of things where the government gets a hold of all of your information, and they can use it for whatever they can. Just sell it. And all of these big problems are things that we need to have conversations about, which is why we cover it here. The United Kingdom becomes world first country to allow personalized treatments like gene and cell therapies to be made on site after easing manufacturing rules. Hamas releases a statement, says it will not disarm unless an independent Palestinian state is established. Iran says it is close to resolving gas export issues with Iraq following a dispute over disruptions to Iran's gas pipelines and Iraq's unpaid dues. Scientists in South Africa have launched an anti-poaching initiative where rhino horns were injected with radioactive isotopes that customs agents can detect. 3 new studies have challenged decades of climate dogmas, raising questions about the reliability of predictions that global sea levels will rise. 2 Afghan asylum seekers are charged over the alleged sexual assault of a 12-year-old girl in a UK town. Police are accused of a possible cover-up. Warwickshire police reportedly advised local councillors and officials not to reveal the asylum seeker background of the two suspects for fear of inflaming community tensions. United States and Armenia will conduct joint military exercises from August 12th to the 20th, named Eagle Partner 2025, focusing on peacekeeping operations and medical evacuation protocols. Shares of Banco de Brazil, BBAS3, plummeted after BTG Pactual, largest investment bank in Latin America, further downgraded its quarter two profit forecast for Banco de Brazil to that's real, which is the Brazilian, currency, 5 billion reals. Additionally, the ruling, I think that's, I can't tell if that's real dollars or whatever, but it's 5 billion. So, additionally, the ruling Workers' Party (PT) filed a petition with the Supreme Federal Court, or STF, requesting that banks not comply with the sanctions against Alexander de Moraes, fueling concerns over the Magnitsky Act and sending agricultural loan defaults soaring. So financial problems. I know that sounds like a bunch of wonky stuff, but that's the kind of stuff that gets like financial crises started. Israel and the U.S. reportedly finalizing an ultimatum to Hamas. They must disarm the Gaza Strip, release all hostages, accept temporary U.S.-led interim administration in Gaza. If rejected, Israel will launch a full-scale military campaign and completely dismantle Hamas infrastructure and all of its capabilities. So they better get going. Magnitude 3.8 earthquake just struck New York City. This was at 10:28 p.m. when this thing hit the wire. So, of course, I am doing my thing, which my wife and I affectionately call tabulating. And I'm tabulating all of the info for the day from my various sites, and this thing hit the wire. I, of course, put it onto my Subscribe Star and Locals, and I put it onto my YouTube. Generally, I put it onto my members, but this is, you have to understand, 3.8 is not a large earthquake. It's not. However, when you're in the concrete jungle of major skyscrapers that are not built for any kind of earthquake handling or anything, I'm not saying that this thing is going to bring down any buildings or anything, but still, like this area, it's very densely populated. So having an earthquake, which is rare, raises some alarms. Now, of course, it's probably just a one-off. There's probably no big deal. I'm not saying freak out or anything like that, but the area is northern New Jersey, just off the area of New York City. So it is a majorly populated area. I used to live not too far away, so I know the area well, and any kind of a earth shaker could, it could cause a lot of problems. So this one, of course, isn't that major a deal. It's news, but if this is something that starts to happen more often, or maybe there's a larger one, it just raises some questions. So hopefully this is a one-off, nothing happens. But on the Substack, this right here will give you the app on where it'll happen. You can click on it. Here on the Substack, I provide you with links so you can get everything. Because I think you're smart and you should be able to follow the rabbit holes wherever they go. So over 500 subscribers now. If you're looking to join the Substack, it's links in the description. It's a great way. Some people pay for it, some people don't. I know this one guy called me a grifter. You're not a grifter if you provide everything for free and you say, you know what, if you like what I'm doing and you'd like to tip me, gift me, join up as a member that pays, whatever. That's not grifting. That's sharing information for free. And then someone says, you know what, this is a valuable thing for me, so I'll give them a little something for the effort. So check that out if you like. Preliminary 3.8 magnitude earthquake strikes New Jersey, felt across New York City. Earthquake reported in northern New Jersey, New York City. Tremors felt across the region. So that's the latest I had. A lot hasn't come out yet. I'm sure that the USGS will have more information. That app is very useful that I have up here. This emsc.eu and then the emsc.eu app. I mean, it's cool because it kind of gives you the latest earthquakes. So if you're in a region that's prone, and there are many, you might want to have it. Entire board of California's Highlands Community Charter School resigned after $180 million meant for immigrant education was funneled into fake students, non-existent classes, luxury travel, and padded salaries for friends. Elon Musk has donated $15 million to President Trump's MAGA PAC, despite their public clashes. Still in the same sphere as each other, they get the two egos, man. When you have egos, it goes in different directions. Kimberly Cheadle, you might remember her from last year with the Butler incident, former Secret Service director during the Trump hit on his life, has been denied renewal of her top-level security clearance. RFK Jr. has officially banned a mercury-based ingredient from the Jibity jabs to protect Americans from serious health risks linked to mercury overexposure. Russian officials are considering moving their Oreshnik missile system closer to the U.S. mainland. It's being threatened. Probably nothing's going to come of it, but still, the nuclear rhetoric is getting thicker. It's not, no, we don't got to go run to your bunkers or anything like that, but it's getting a little more, I don't know, how do I put it? It's just getting more intense. So, nuclear war is I don't see it happening, but threatening or talking or whatever and using this kind of brash language can have its problems. So hopefully this is just talk and both of them will settle the F down. Senate Republicans are actively considering adjourning Congress to allow Trump to bypass confirmation and make recess appointments. Australia has rolled out machete drop boxes to combat a surge in brutal knife attacks, mainly involving machete-wielding new neighbors. Britain has done a similar thing with katana knives. I mean, why don't they just ban death, okay? Or you know what, murder? Why don't they ban? Oh wait, they've already done that. So, EPA is preparing to roll back restrictions on toxic forever chemicals in the nation's drinking water supply. Telegraph warns Putin may be more willing to start a nuclear war than the West realizes. Vladimir Putin's repeated nuclear threats and Russia's shifting military doctrine suggest a growing willingness to escalate. The Telegraph reports, while many still view it as a bluff, the paper argues that Western leaders underestimate the real risk of a nuclear use, especially if Putin feels Russia's survival of territorial integrity is threatened. Now, I don't worry about anybody really right now going nuclear. I don't. If of all of the things of recently, the only one I really was truly afraid of was the India-Pakistan one. So, if you've read white papers on stuff with that, and I'm pretty familiar with the area through the degree work I've done, that's the area where it's most believed that a nuclear exchange would actually happen because they're hot-headed. They have them. Blah blah blah. I don't really worry about Putin, so I think the Telegraph is just trying to incite some readership. But again, the rhetoric is just getting thicker. Australian state seeks to enshrine work from home in law. So you can go work from home. Israel and the U.S. are about to issue an ultimatum to Hamas, demilitarize the Gaza Strip, release all hostages, temporary administration in Gaza under American leadership. If the conditions are not met, Israel will launch a military operation to eliminate Hamas. This is Amir Sarfati, so Israeli, pro-Israel. I expect at least talk and more action. We have already opened the gates of HE hockey sticks 20 times and only killed 60,000. It's simply a joke, a war of extermination against an enemy of National Socialism, 1930s Germany. It looks completely different. Ask Zhukov and Rokossovsky. They look down on us and are pulling their hair out. Was it for this that we freed you from Auschwitz and Treblinka? Of course, referencing the concentration camps. So that you, again, look down on the JASE as worthless and do nothing serious, half-hearted, right? So Amir's getting mad. Iranian foreign minister, there is no ceasefire agreement. Israel stopped, so we also stop. The moment Israel returns, we will also return. Large fire broke out at a chemical plant in Akijan, Adrashar, northwest Iran area. Kamala Harris says she doesn't plan to return to a broken system of U.S. politics. Former Vice President talked to Stephen Colbert, first interview since election after declining a bid for California governor. You probably didn't hear about that because nobody watches Colbert anymore. FEMA denies grants to 3 Kentucky counties hit by devastating storms. Denials are latest by agency as Trump administration seeks to shift burden of disaster recovery to states. FEMA officials claim the areas did not suffer enough damage to merit federal support in letter issued to the governor on Tuesday. Last week, FEMA also rejected Maryland's request for disaster assistance after a near-record level flooding in May destroyed hundreds of homes and businesses and tore on the roads public infrastructure, leaving close to $16 million in damages. Trump has called for dismantling the agency, part of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and he has already begun to cut funding in key areas. Quote, "We want to wean off of FEMA and we want to bring it back to the state level," the president said, speaking from the Oval Office in June, noting his plans to promptly give out less money to states in recovery. Europe's 6th-gen fighter jet project, FCAS, is on the brink of collapse. The €100 billion Future Combat Air System, or FCAS, Europe's most ambitious defense project, is unraveling due to a leadership and industrial split between Germany and France. Airbus Defense CEO Michael Schulhorn just fired a blunt warning to German Chancellor Merz. Unless we return to the agreed principles and actually implement them, we no longer see a basis for continuing FCAS. This further goes with just the unraveling and major problems that are really starting to take hold in Europe. As we pointed out here a few days ago, they're leading nothing anymore. They lead nothing. They're not leading in space. They're not leading in tech. They're not leading in innovation. They're not leading in anything. So it's sad. It's strange. This continent that used to lead the world is just devolving into nothingness. Russia, Novosibirsk, Samara Oblast, if I said that right. The Rosneft oil refinery was hit by a Ukrainian long-range FP-1 drone. Strike was 1,000 kilometers from Ukraine's border. New UN reform report finds most UN reports go unread. Imagine that. With many receiving under 1,000 downloads. Why? Because they're just a bunch of bluster. UN is effectively just a body of people talking and looking cool. What most people don't realize, yesterday's posture change against Russia is something completely off the charts. This is analysis from Aquila on this whole nuclear rhetoric thing. Past few weeks, notice U.S. Air Force cargo aircraft from Kirtland Air Force Base, some of the B-6112 thermonuclear weapon flying toward Royal Air Force Lockheath, and then returning, indicating that U.S. is having some of its nuclear arsenal back to the Brits. Yesterday, Trump announced that he is ordering 2 of the U.S. Navy's nuclear-capable submarines closer towards Russia, and most likely it's the Arctic. U.S. always keeps a rotational presence in the 5 to 6 subs already, ready to launch. This sudden shift, because of Medvedev throwing the nuclear word around, cannot be the cause to shift 2 more subs around, which is quite a big shift. There is more to what meets the eye. We saw this weeks before Trump moved in to strike Iran's nuclear facility. Over the past few weeks, U.S. and NATO SIG-INT aircraft have flown closer and closer towards the Crimean Peninsula in Novorossiysk, escorted by or with NATO fighters, so the reconnaissance planes cannot be intercepted by Russian fighters. So even he's noticing some stuff. He says it's not just because Medvedev spoke, it's because something's going on under the surface. Take it for what it is. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar sent an urgent message this evening to his counterparts around the world, calling on them to issue a call for the release of the Israeli hostages according to Reuters. You might see something go down in Gaza, or at least against Hamas, in the not so distant future. And now brace yourselves, folks. I know this has been an important story for you, but Sydney Sweeney, she's the girl with the ads, with the breastises. She has revealed herself. I hope you're sitting down, to be a Republican. I know. So I actually had a conversation with my father tonight, talking about politics, something we talk about regularly. I said, the youngins are a lot more conservative than people. Basically, the only one that's really going over into the D side of things are the women 40s to 60s. So outside of that, other people are going towards a conservative. Now, earlier on the other report, I put that Democrats have become the largest party affiliation. I wouldn't read too much into that. I don't know where that's from. I didn't really see a backing. I've been kind of trying to find that. So I wouldn't read too much into that. Last week it came out that the Democrats have had the worst ratings they've had since polling was basically started in like whenever. So it's all back and forth. I think people are kind of sick of both wings of this bird, and they see everything for what it's worth now, and so they're kind of like, hey, let's fix this, because this isn't working anymore. Youngins like Sydney Sweeney and others, they're the same way. They're just tired of it. They don't see a future where they're going to get a piece of the pie, and so they're looking for something that's going to change it. So I don't think the politics of old are going to keep going. I think problems are going to start to come out of the surface, and you're going to see some interesting things happen in the next 10 to 20 years as it goes to our politics. You might even see a party die. You might see a party change, a party split, another party rise up. Who knows? But that is your crisis report for August 2nd, 2025. Thanks so much for being here, friends. I'm going to take it on over to PrepperNow and go from there. We have been traveling. We are at my parents' vacation spot. They take care of us so they can hang out with the grandchildren, and we just have to get to there. So we are going to be chilling here for the next week. So we'll have extra time to do stuff. It is a relaxed kind of thing. We appreciate you being here. Please hit that like button, to the subscribe thing, darken out the bell, double tap the screen, please. And we are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. They take your IRA, put it into physical gold and silver. I don't know if you've seen what's been going on lately, but a lot of people are choosing this path for obvious reasons. So I wouldn't be working with them unless they had good ratings and were a trusted company, and that's exactly what they are. So check it out, link in the description, or not. Keep coming back for more. Again, I don't charge for this unless you want to help me out. And if you do, great. I really appreciate it. Maybe you'd like to become a member like HUAH, Prepper, AZ, or Blue Cord Devil. Really appreciate your support, guys. God bless. We'll go on over for the crisis report, and we'll see you there.